The story begins in an old, creepy temple. A scared man had come there to pray, carrying a small child with him. The temple was so ancient that just looking at it felt like no one had been there for centuries. Everything around was silent, and there wasn't a single person in sight. But still, the sound of a drum was echoing through the air. Suddenly, a gigantic deity woke up, and it turned out that the drumbeat was actually the heartbeat of that deity. Its awakening wasn't a good sign. It marked the beginning of unleashing hellish suffering on humans. Now, the story moves forward with our main character, Guan, who is heading into a mysterious old cave to find his missing daughter, Tangerine. From deep inside the cave, he hears her screams. Suddenly, a bright light flashes, and the same deity appears before him, stopping him from going any further. But just then, he wakes up. It was all just a dream. In reality, his daughter Tangerine was kidnapped 6 years ago, and there's been no trace of her since. Guan has risked his whole life trying to find her. He left his home, quit his job, even separated from his wife. The story moves on, and we see Guan sitting by the roadside on a hill, watching a truck passing by. Suddenly, he throws a stone and smashes the truck's windshield, causing an accident. Guan then attacks the truck driver, repeatedly asking, "Where's my daughter?" Just then, one of the driver's companions comes from behind and hits Guan on the head, knocking him unconscious. After a while, when he opens his eyes, he opens the back door of the truck and is shocked to see lots of kids locked up in cages inside. He becomes certain that he stumbled upon a child trafficking gang. Guan looks at each child in the cages, hoping maybe his daughter Tangerine is among them. But she's not there. Just then, the police arrive, and things get complicated. The police end up thinking that Guan himself is the one trafficking the kids. She arrests him. Back in the police car, tied up with handcuffs, Guan falls asleep again. This time, in his dream, he sees his daughter trapped in dark, swampy vines. When he wakes up, he notices a cop pulling a picture of a tangerine out of his pocket. Angry, he hits the cop, grabs the photo back, and runs away. On the way, he spots a car and jumps in to save himself. The driver is a mysterious woman named Ling, who knows Guan. She knew everything about his whole life. She knows that Tangerine is missing and also says she'll help Guan find him. Now, the story jumps into a flashback. Back in the old days, there was a warrior named Kong who was running for his life from some attackers, led by an old man. Just as Kong reaches the top of a hill, they surround him. Then his sister shows up and tells him to run west. To save him, she pushes him off the hill and faces the attackers alone. They start fighting. Kong somehow climbs back up and sees that his sister has been killed. Furious, he steps forward to kill the old man. But the old man warns him, saying, "If you kill me, you'll never escape Lord Redman." Kong doesn't care about the warning and kills the old man. Suddenly, his armor starts shaking like it's searching for a new warrior, and then it attaches itself to Kang's body. This armor can think and reason, and now it has only one goal, through Kong, to reach Lord. Defeating Redman. The armor becomes part of his body, and an eye appears on his chest. Meanwhile, Ling takes Guan to a building where she used to work. She shows Guan a picture of 5 little girls. But Guan can't recognize them because 6 years is a long time. Now Ling offers him a deal. If he works for her company, she can run a DNA test to find Tangerine. The company knows Guan has unique powers. He can mentally stop thrown objects or change their direction. He could have. Now the company wants Guan to use his power to take the life of a writer named Kong. Actually, Kong streams whatever story he writes live, and whenever Lord Redman gets hurt in his story, something big happens to Limu, the boss of Ling, at the same time. The company tried everything to stop Kong, but nothing worked. Guan didn't really believe all this, but he had no other choice. He wanted to get his daughter back no matter what. So, Guan changed his appearance, got a haircut, and went after Kong. He reaches the city. On the way, he listens to Kang's audiobook and realizes that his dreams, his daughter, everything is connected to Kang's story. He spends the whole day following Kong, looking for a chance. When he finally gets to the library, Kong catches him and asks why he was following him. Guan, trying to save himself, says he's a fan. Hearing this, Kong gets happy and starts asking him a lot of questions. Just then, Ling calls Guan and orders him to kill Kong immediately. But Guan doesn't kill him. He wants to understand Kang's story and his world. Then Ling's. A car comes speeding towards the two to run them over. But somehow, they manage to escape. In all the chaos, Guan's diary, where he had written about his dreams, gets left behind. When Kong reads that diary, he gets an idea to give his own story a new twist. Now the story takes us back into a fantasy world. Kong arrives in a city where a festival is being celebrated, and people are worshipping Lord Redman in the form of a huge statue. Suddenly, the statue points towards a village, and everyone grabs their weapons and heads there. They start running. Kavach Gang tells him that this god encourages his followers to commit violence. The villagers try to save themselves, but suddenly 3 dragons appear and rain burning lava from the sky. Arrows fly everywhere, and the entire village is destroyed in flames. The next morning, priests dressed in red arrive in the village, scare the survivors, and take control of the village. Now, back to the present. Guan wakes up and finds himself in a hotel room where Ling is sitting. She asks him, "Did you? Should he be punished for failing his mission?" Just then, Kong comes out of the hotel and returns Guan his diary. Guan even thanks him for inspiring his story. Now, Guan uses the excuse of killing Kong to take him for a walk. But during their conversation, Kong reveals that in his dream, there was a girl trying to save her dead brother. That girl was Guan's daughter, Tangerine. Tangerine told them that the soldier in red clothes had killed her brother, and this soldier kills anyone who is connected to the sun. After stepping outside their house, Guan and Kong hear the same flute tune that Tangerine played in that dream. Suddenly, a red soldier starts chasing them because it's already dark and the curfew has begun. Kong makes a dummy of Tangerine to distract the soldier so Tangerine can escape. Mistaking the dummy for a girl, the soldier approaches Kong. Kong strikes the helmet on the soldier's head, and as the helmet cracks open, Guan's face is revealed. Now, Guan is ready to take down Cake. He was ready. But just as Guan started attacking Cake, Tangerine showed up again and drew Guan's attention. This time, for some reason, Guan didn't move. Taking advantage of this, Kong and Tangerine escaped. Back in the real world, Kong was still writing all this in his novel when Guan suddenly appeared from behind. Guan had seen those same dreams in his imaginary world that Kong had just written about in his novel. Guan grabbed a stone and attacked Kong, knocking him unconscious and causing him to fall into a pit. Here, Guan hummed the same tune. Humming softly, Kong came close to deliver his final blow, the one he'd written about in his novel. But just then, right in the middle of the road, he heard a kid singing the same tune. Guan was shocked. He only ever sang that song to his daughter. So how did this kid know it? Guan wanted to ask the boy where he'd heard the tune, but the kid got scared and ran off. As Guan chased after him, he felt just like Tangerine and Kong chasing the red soldier in his novel. Well, that boy was the chance. He ran off after seeing it. While chasing him, Guan accidentally ended up at a small party, and surprisingly, he found Tangerine's kidnapper there, partying with his friends. A fight broke out immediately, and Guan used his powers to defeat them. He asked the kidnapper straight up, "Tell me honestly, where's my daughter?" Scared, the kidnapper confessed that there was a mistake during the kidnapping, and Tangerine had died. Then he said he had put her body in a sack and taken it to a hill. He threw him into the pit. Crazy with anger and pain, Guan was about to strangle him when Ling showed up, knocked Guan out, and put him in her car to take him away. When Guan came to, he told Ling that the kidnapper had said his daughter was already dead. Limu, who was Ling's boss, overheard everything. He ordered Ling to tell Guan that his daughter wasn't dead, that the kidnapper was lying. But Ling didn't want to lie to Guan like that just for her own benefit. Guan then told Ling that he'll kill him. Don't worry about it. The kidnapper just wants him. He'll kill him himself. He tells him to get them out of police custody and hand them over to me. After that, we see Ling's boss, Limu, was angry with him. He had told him to lie to Guan and calm him down, but Ling didn't want to stoop that low. Meanwhile, in a daydream, Kong and Tangerine managed to escape the red soldiers and reach the city. There, they saw that because of this fight, many innocent people were getting killed. When Tangerine got home, she found out her family had died because they went outside during the curfew. They were just talking when suddenly some followers of Lord Redman showed up and tried to kill them both. Kong jumped forward to save Tangerine's life, and his armor realized that he was actually becoming a hero. In the real world, Kong met Guan on the rooftop of a building. He had no idea that the one attacking him was actually Guan. Guan found out that Kong had put him in his novel as a red soldier. That's why the injury that was on the soldier's head was now on Guan's head too, which made him. He got hurt while fighting the kidnapper. Guan grabbed Kang's notebook and saw that all the weird things he had been seeing were written down in Kang's book. The craziest part was that Tangerine was actually a living character in that novel. It became clear that Kang had unknowingly created a parallel universe through his novel, and whatever he wrote was happening in the real world too. Kang explained that in the last chapter, he and Tangerine were surrounded by a bunch of Red Man soldiers. That's when Guan suggested that no matter what, they had to. The fight had to be won. Now the story goes back to that imaginary world. Kang was about to fight Red Man soldiers when suddenly his armor separated from his body and turned into a living creature that could shapeshift into any weapon it wanted. This armor was cutting through the crowd as it moved forward. Kang jumped into the fight and quickly realized that the armor obeyed him because it had his blood in it. He struck the armor on the chest and said, "I'm your master. You have to move the way I want." Meanwhile, back in the real world, Guan had Ling. He called and said he was going to save Kang now, and he did that because he wanted to protect Tangerine and Novel. During the conversation, Kang told Guan that his dad used to be business partners with Limo too. But one day, Kang's dad suddenly died in an accident. Ling was listening to all this and finally realized that it was Limo who killed Kang's dad, and now he wants to kill Kang too to hide the truth. Angry, Ling called Limo and asked him the truth, but Limo didn't answer and just hung up. After a while, when Ling was heading back to her car, one of Limu's men shocked her with a taser and threw her into the back seat. Meanwhile, Guan and Kang reached the library, where Kang was just about to finish writing the last part of his novel. Guan was totally ready to save Kang. At the same time, in a daydream, Kang and Tangerine Red Man arrived at the palace, where they saw thousands of red soldier statues. Kang realized that these statues were the reason for the curfew. At sunset, the soldiers turned into statues. Just then, Limu's thugs showed up at the library. They arrived, and Guan used his powers to face them. But one thug had the ability to control electricity. He threw water on Guan and shocked him, knocking him down. But Guan took advantage of the moment, put on rubber gloves, and attacked again so the shock wouldn't affect him. Then he faced a powerful attacker he couldn't handle. Luckily, Ling somehow broke free and got there, and together they took down the attacker. Meanwhile, in the imaginary world, Kang. Tangerine reached Lord Redman. Redman was a huge, four-armed monster. It turned out that Kang was actually the nephew of Redman's brother, who Redman had killed. And this story was pretty similar to real life, because Limo had killed Kang's father. Furious, Kang challenged Redman to a fight. Redman took him to a tree where Kang's father was buried, and the fight began. Kang's armor came back to life and started helping him in the battle, but even together, they couldn't beat Redman. Just then, Redman was about to kill the wounded Kang. Tangerine played the same tune on his flute that his father had taught him. But this just made Redman even angrier, and he grabbed Tangerine and pressed him against his stomach. Meanwhile, in the real world, a third thug sneaked into the library and stabbed Kang without anyone noticing. Guan and Ling found him, fought off the attacker, and somehow got Kang to the hospital. Guan looked at the story on Kang's laptop and started thinking about how to finish it. Just then, Limo came into the room and said that his plan was to. Kang and Guan were both killed to make it look like they had killed each other. But now Gun will finish this story, and just as Redman was about to kill Kang in the imaginary world, suddenly a red soldier appeared and attacked Redman with a machine gun. It was Guan, who had come to save his daughter. Redman got a bit hurt from Guan's attack, and right then the gang noticed a weapon hanging on Redman's forehead. Thinking it was his weakness, they started pulling it out. The red soldier helped too, and together they ripped Redman's body open because of it. Redman was killed right there, and Tangerine was freed from his stomach jail. Finally, the father and daughter were reunited. Meanwhile, in the real world, Ling was reading about how Guan took down Novel. As soon as Redman died in Novel, Limu also died there. In the end, Guan heard that same tune again. He ran outside the hospital to see what was going on. That's when he saw the same boy he had been chasing, but this time, the boy was with a girl, none other than his daughter, Tangerine. And that's where the story ends. So if you liked it, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Thanks.